Who are these people?
All right, fam. Look, Zionists who find this video looking for dirt to use on Palestinians because there's now a mafia. You're coming through. You found the wrong channel, homies. Y'all might want to go somewhere else. This ain't gonna be that. What it is going to be is Illinois students who protested Gaza genocide are facing felony mob charges. You heard that right. Felony mob charges. So
it's only going to get worse under Trump.
Yep.
They made that clear.
Yes, they did. So this is Tara Goodarzi. I hope I pronounced that right. Over at Truthout. Who writes pre-trial hearings for students who participated in a Gaza solidarity encampment in central Illinois last spring are being held on November 20 and December 4th. The outcome of the 4 students' trials will determine whether they will risk up to 3 years of incarceration on felony mob action charges for having exercised their free speech rights on campus. The students from the University of Illinois' Urbana campaign, Champaign, one of the largest...
Champaign.
Yeah, I think that's it. One of the largest public universities in the country constructed an encampment known as the Popular University for Gaza in April 2024. After months of Israel's relentless slaughter of Palestinians, mirroring dozens of other students-led sites across the United States, right? We covered plenty of those.
Right.
The UIUC students' demands were similar to those of their peers, an acknowledgement by the administrations of Israel's ongoing genocide of Palestinians, funded almost exclusively by the United States, a commitment to addressing Palestinians and Muslim affairs on campus, and divestment from all corporations and academic collaborations that support the Israeli occupation of Palestine, aka BDS, or we're not going to give you, like, tuition. Is what it sounds like, right?
Right.
So Illinois student organizers, led in part by the group UIUC Students for Justice in Palestine, attempted to meet with university officials such as Chancellor Robert Jones, who announced his decision to resign from the university just last week. The students tried to... the students tried to engage with administrations over the course of several months, but meaningful negotiations never materialized. Students held demonstrations on campus and remained steadfast in their commitment to the encampment, absent cooperation from the school, citing violations of its student handbook policies relating to 10-cent signs on its quad. The university ushered in scores of public officers spanning 5 different counties in central Illinois, and requiring over $137,000 in overtime.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
So,
no.
When was this article written?
I can tell you that. November 26th. Yes, sir.
Oh, yesterday.
Yes, sir.
You pulled this.
Day of, yes.
So,
I'm good like that.
We're still in the Biden administration, is it not?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
So, you're worried about Trump doing it starting within the next few months, but you're not worried about Biden has been doing and doing currently. Okay.
Minnesota!
Yeah, pretty much. So students held demonstrations on the quad, all that stuff. So, and requiring over $137,000 in overtime, they paid those police officers for that. For that lovely duty they served.
I'm sure they were so butthurt for getting paid more.
Yep. According to faculty eyewitnesses, students were encircled and threatened with arrest and misdemeanor charges if they failed to cease their demonstrations. The students eventually voluntarily disassembled the encampment. 2 individuals were arrested, but neither were students. The issue appeared to be closed, but it wasn't closed. Over the summer months, UIUC police and Champaign County State Attorney Julia Rietz joined forces to send a clear and heavy-handed message about they intend to handle pro-Palestinian student speech going forward. Reitz, who has been on the faculty of UIUC's law school since 2009, began issuing summonses starting in July 2024 to students who are alleged to have participated in the encampment. A great deal of effort. Yes.
So wait. So this was basically back in the spring semester.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I would understand it more if like this was kind of going on for the summer even now, but like this is just kind of payback from like the spring that they're now getting to. Okay.
Yep. So, beginning issuing summons to students who are alleged to participate in the encampment, a great deal of effort and resources seemingly went into targeting these students.
Right.
University police utilized surveillance technology, including the use of license plate readers, as well as students' social media posts. Okay? Y'all listening?
Right.
Class, are you listening? Okay? Y'all leave that shit off there if you're worried, is all I'm saying. Shut the fuck up Friday. It's just, I get it. Like, also, good idea to have two separate social medias, by the way. Like a semi-professional one that you can use for school and business, and your fun time, just yourself one. I
mean, like when I was in college, now granted, like emails weren't.
Yes.
Like it was still new, but even then, it was the idea of like what we were told even back then. Like if you have an email address that you're wanting to use to get information from the school, make sure that it actually was reasonable and not like I'm gonna make something up, like bigdick54@aol.com or something like that.
Right.
Like something crazy. Like even back then, and this was in the late 90s, early aughts.
Yeah.
We were instructed on that back then. So
makes sense to me. Body camera footage used as well, and the resulting summonses were not for misdemeanors. They contained mandates to appear in court for Class 4 felony mob action charges. What? We're bringing RICO cases. That's what we're doing. So, shout out to Indy, who also related this to what they did to the Stop Cop City protesters, who also were RICO'd, right? Clearly, this is the new tactic. They also shot Tortuguita, rest in peace. Tallahassee boys represent. But, yeah, not good. So, carry up to 3 years in prison. Several students were charged, including one Palestinian student. On August 16th, 2024, Reitz publicly stated during a local radio spot that these charges were pushed at the direct request of the university. However, the decision to prosecute these students for a felony under the mob action statute was ultimately a prosecutorial decision, despite Reitz's public claims that free speech is absolutely a protected right. While Reitz was elected by the community to serve the best interest of Champaign County, her private affiliation with the university raises questions about the lens she is willing to use to review the evidence of these cases. Some UIUC faculty fear that Reitz is advocating on behalf of the university first instead of the county, and that the university is leveraging its connection with her to legitimize its mistreatment of students in the eyes of the public.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. So the latter concern is particularly relevant because Reitz and the university have moved forward with prosecuting students despite the fact that numerous alumni, employees, and community activists have publicly urged them to stand down and respect constitutional rights. In July of 2024, 37 UIUC faculty sent an open letter to Reitz calling for her to drop all charges against students. Many of these faculty members were present at the encampment and witnessed the peaceful actions of the students. In their strongly worded letter, the faculty explained that many of the participating students have lost family members and were directly affected by Israel's ongoing genocide in Gaza, They noted that the students' actions exemplified those of global citizens trying to use their voices for a more just and peaceful world, one of the alleged goals of UIUC. Additionally, the University of Illinois Board of Trustees public board meetings recently have included speakers during public comment periods who have condemned the school's actions towards these students as well. So,
yeah.
REITs and UIUC have chosen to take a more criminally aggressive approach to student concerns over genocide as compared to other Illinois universities. The ACLU of Illinois even spoke out against these charges, noting that they opposed creation of the mob action statute when it was first being considered by the Illinois General Assembly because of their fear that it would be used against protesters in this very way. In their statement, the ACLU explained that lawmakers expressed repeatedly that the mob action statute would not be used to target protesters. But the university's participation in prosecuting its own students for having the courage to publicly denounce genocide is disturbing, but not surprising. The university has a history of supporting a pro-apartheid position. In 1986, after students protested their company's investment in apartheid South Africa, the university ultimately was forced to divest millions. More recently, in 2013, the university hired renowned professor Steven Salaita only to rescind his employment offer after reading his tweets denouncing the murderous act of the Israeli apartheid state. In July and August of 2014, Israel murdered over 22,000 Palestinians. Can you imagine trying to get a university gig and not being able to because of your tweets? Like, condemning a genocide? You know? Like, hopefully that history department isn't going to be filled with someone who doesn't, because they're going to be getting stuff wrong. So, in July and August of 2014, Israel murdered over 2,200 Palestinians, an assault to which Salaita rightly took great exception after the school rescinded his employment offer. Salaita sued UIUC and earned a settlement award of over $800,000. Embarrassingly, UIUC also earned a former censure from the American Association of University Professors for failure to adhere to principles of academic freedom. The university also maintains a robust portfolio of pro-apartheid investments.
This is why.
Yeah.
This is why. As
Funny
Savvy
how that
says,
works.
follow the money. And
Mhm.
as you were reading, it was just like, this is not about the students. They're the scapegoat. This is about protecting their donors.
The money is there.
So,
right.
The alphabet soup.
The very thing that the students are wanting them to divest
from. Right. Yeah, they don't want to do what they had to do with South Africa. That's what they don't want to do. So, the alphabet soup of university agencies allegedly responsible. So, pro-apartheid investments running upwards of $27 million for 2023 alone by some estimates. The alphabet soup of university agencies allegedly responsible for managing and directing these funds seem purposefully opaque. Inquiries into one entity about its spending only led to finger pointing at another. Certain entities, are public, subject to FOIA reveal, while others are private and cannot be easily scrutinized. Protecting these investments seems paramount to the administration, and unfortunately, the university has not been content with criminal charges against these students alone. Apparently, hell-bent on destroying this movement even further, UIUC recently decided that Students for Justice in Palestine will no longer be officially recognized as a legitimate registered student organization on campus. Other universities, such as Brown, Columbia, George Washington, and Brandeis, have similarly engaged. Brandeis? Why they screw up French pronunciation, Collin? First Illinois, now Brandeis. Like,
Brandeis.
Where's that French department? Huh? What are y'all doing? Teach some people. Have similarly engaged in this type of suppression Further still, according to numerous faculty members monitoring the situation on campus, UIUC is currently pursuing aggressive academic disciplinary measures against several of the criminally charged students, a procedure that prohibits students from speaking publicly about the process. Wonder why? And allows them limited access to guidance or representation. Man, it sounds like some stuff we used to have some, like, you know, like a Bill of Rights tell you needed, you know, but whatever. Like right to attorney and, you know, all those rights you read. Right to remain silent. I would plead the fifth if I were y'all, just saying. These students now face not only jail time, but the threat of expulsion as well as this is up on their record. That to me is important, right? They're not going to look at what your felony mob count was. They're going to look that it's a felony mob count. Like,
but not only that, this is their way of like getting other students in check. Basically being like, if you do this too, this can also happen to you. So this is a scare tactic on the school administration's part to keep their students in line. But I saw that Angel in the chat basically said, why are these students still going to the school? I mean, I get it in terms of like,
sometimes this is the public one, right? This is like the one you probably could afford.
Right.
So
I get it for a lot of these students. It's the idea of like, and unfortunately, this is the very thing of education that I hate, is the idea of the belief that in order to make it, you need to have a college. So it's the idea basically of like, that piece of paper is essentially your ticket to employment, decent employment, you know, as well as whatever that offers you moving forward. And that kind of draw is very powerful for a lot of students, especially for students who do not come into, who were not from money.
Yep.
You know, so it's literally a scare tactic in the best possible sense, because it's going to force students to think twice. As you said, this is going to be on their record. So forget getting a job or anything. You know, you're basically screwed for the rest of your life. But then, but along with that, but on the other side of that, this is very much against what happened to free speech.
Well, like, right. Free speech for them, not for us. Very clearly.
Right. So, at a college, no less.
Right.
Like, this is what is happening. So, like, I'm surprised this hasn't not got, well, I'm not surprised and not being surprised, but the idea this hasn't gotten a lot more, well, it did, I think, just in terms of all the colleges, like, back in the spring, but, like, we haven't heard of anything about any protests on campuses since. And honestly, I'm kind of a little surprised by that, because I figured that by September, when students got back, that it will kind of pop up in the news again.
Well, but I think the news also, like, won't cover it.
I mean, the election too.
Yeah, that
too.
You
know, like, Collin was a great scapegoat in, like, not talking about issues like these at all, especially when it relates to Palestine. But
yeah,
you know, but be interesting to see once Trump in office, what if this is any, probably not, but
no,
still be interesting to see if
so
anything is mentioned regarding this or any other story related to this.
Yeah. So to finish up, as of the date of this publication, REITs and UIUC have still refused to state whether they are finished with their quest to charge and punish students from last spring. With an existing 3-year statute of limitations for a mob action claim, students who were encampment participants must face another school year with a looming threat over their heads. Of course, the intended impact is clear: to curtail visible pro-Palestinian sentiment on campus. As the current round of Israeli violence in Gaza surpasses the 1-year mark, UIUC has staked its position firmly out as one of the most threatening schools in the U.S. for students who are outwardly opposed to ethnic cleansing, apartheid, and genocide. Guess what, Collin? University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign and Reef's office declined to comment.
Of course.
So, as they would. But,
right.
Closing thoughts?
Wouldn't surprise me if Reef wasn't a Zionist herself.
Right.
But again, this is, they're protecting their money. This isn't about the students. They're protecting their money and they're protecting their donors, who I'm sure are very much attached to Israel and do not want to divest. So they're willing to let these students kick the bucket in order to protect their finances, which to me is disgusting.
Yep.
And very much diametrically opposed to what a school should be. A school should not be a business, and it should not be run like one. Like, yeah, it's just, I have nothing else to say. But it's just disgusting all around. But it makes sense given the ways of the world, and especially in this country where, money is king.
Cash rules everything around me. Gotta get the money.
So,
dollar bill, y'all.
But
also,
I hope honestly, if it ever comes down to it, students sue.
Yeah.
I hope they do. Like, if they mobilize around that idea and just sue the piss out of UIUC, because like, I don't know, but
yeah. I mean, me and you and our audience both know a particular Chicago pundit who could, get on his comfortable shoes and head on over to the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, and see what's up.
It's like a couple.
Knock at some doors.
It's a couple hours away from Chicago.
Okay, I'll give him some gas money. So, but definitely should look into it. And I'm sure this isn't going to be the only university stuff happening. So keep an eye out for that, and kids stay safe out there, it's hard out here, but talking about these things is more than likely why we're demonetized. So you can go to co-fi.com/indienewsnetwork, scan that beautiful little QR code on your screen, or if you're in the chat, you can put !donate, get a little link to send us some dollary dues. We appreciate that. As always, links to help donate in the description below. And if you can't do that, like, subscribe, hit the share button, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Is your schools doing the same kind of things? Let us know. But otherwise, thanks for watching.